Today, since this will be like I'm speaking, I'll try to involve you as much as possible, so feel free to ask questions and yeah, just exchange the energy and everything else on the way. And most of my career was actually automotive, then education, and I'm like decade in project management, product development world. Yeah? And today, as I said, we will start with Agile in game development, and we will explore Agile Playground, so-called. So I would like immediately to reveal how this game ends. Yeah. So because I think it's really important to say at the beginning that this game ends, and the journey which I will talk about is one team that I'm working for had a journey in, let's say, experimentation and journey where they did a lot of stuff, did a lot of wrong stuff, but they learn a lot on the way. So game really ends with a really strong team. They were, let's say, really motivated. They had fun producing the game. They had a great product. So me as a part of the team was really happy to be part of the team because we had at the end great product, which brings, let's say, players and brings revenue to the studio as well. And we had kind of the tech excellence, which is also really important. And you saw today on this first lecture what John said, that we are speaking first about the people. And here as well, we are all about the people and then about the rest of the things, because great people can produce great products. So when we started, we didn't know much, but we had kind of a goal, and this was like ultimate goal for us to produce a top-notch, exciting game that will be really interesting for the players. And we had to balance between technical stuff, product stuff, and also having fun while delivering it, but not forgetting, let's say, efficiency and all of this stuff, yeah, on the way. So we started with that ultimate goal, and we really said that we want to have fun delivering it, yeah? This was really important for us. So as you see here on the top right corner is not so visible, but we had a vision and goal. And when I said vision and goal, is I know you heard this is really important and everyone speaks about this. But for us, this was really together and said, this is something will guide us through our process of development. And each time we, let's say, struggle or let's say, go to the different and probably wrong paths, we had something to remind us of, okay, what is our vision goal? What we actually should do? Okay, let's continue and pivot and try to remain on track. So this was really, really important for us. So now, before we start, this QR code probably will not work because it's shrinked a bit. So you can go to dementi.com and enter this code. It will be easier. So I would like to understand, how do you feel these things, are those things predictable or not? Because we started the project and we had a vision, but we didn't know requirements, processes, and people. So I would like actually to ask you, what is the predictability of the requirements? What is the predictability of the processes and technology we will use in the project? And what is the predictability of the people? When we say people, team, how they interact, how they come every day to the work, and what is all about that. So try, just put the slider, so requirements from 0% of predictability to 100% predictability. Let's say at the beginning of the project, what is the percentage of the thing we know that we will actually deliver? And at the end of the project, what we actually delivered, yeah? Let's see how that works. So I will just switch the... Yes. First time started with that thing, yeah. So requirements, I see here around 44%, process technology around 63%, and people around 49-ish, yeah? 48, okay. Okay, you can continue this. I will use this chart later on in some posts on the LinkedIn. But let's continue with presentation. So when we speak about all of these things,
actually requirements are kind of 35% you can predict in advance, yeah? So it's not even 40 or 50. Because Standish Group from Boston actually did one report, it's called Chaos Report, and they actually tried to analyze really big portion of projects. And when then analyzed, they realized that 65% of the features are not used at all or used only a little bit, yeah? So 65% of the features on the product are not used. So that means that we actually can predict around 35%, and that's not much, yeah? Second thing, processes, technology, and so on. So maybe at the beginning of the project, we know what kind of framework we will use, or maybe which engine for development of the games. But imagine what happened with Unity. So Unity released like the information that after you reach some, let's say, level of revenue, you will need to pay like $1 for each install, yeah? So just imagine how many studios were thinking about changing the engine for next game, or if they were in the beginning of the production, maybe immediately, or maybe even to produce their own engine, yeah? So processes and technology is kind of 50% predictable, yeah? And people just tell me, this is my example today, I'm not performing the same time like yesterday, yeah? So that's the first thing. So if we talk about each individual and teams like 20, 30, 50, some games are like 1,000 people. So there's a lot of complexity in it, and people predictability, how they will work, perform, and everything else is less than 20%. And this is even optimistic, I would say, yeah? So it's a mystery game, yeah? Beginning of the project, we do not know any of those stuff, yeah? So we can start with something, but we do not know much of the things. So because it's a mystery game, we need to start with something, yeah? So we said, at the beginning of our project, we said, what we need? We need a team, for sure, yeah, who will work on that. But we didn't know the balance of team. Like, we need 2 programmers, 1 technical artist, I don't know, 3 animators, so we do not know that, yeah? So we just, by, let's say, gut feeling, understood, let's say, try with this composition and just start the project. And we will see how we will balance the team at the end, yeah? Tools, as I said, we choose like Unity at the beginning, let's use that. We choose some project management tool like Jira or Asana or Don't Hit Me, so it's okay. And most important thing we use, we agreed at the beginning, we want to have a playground. And this is all about playground. What is playground? Playground is actually the place where everything happens, yeah? So collaboration, experimentation, decision-making, and everything. So we need space, time, and environment where we as a team will be able to experiment without fear of failure, yeah? And what is most important is that management was on board with this. So we onboarded management and we discussed with them and say, we need this, because if we want to have top-notch game, if we want to break some standards and be better, we need to have space for experimentation and to fail. And when we say experimentation, it's not just experiment with the tools or experiment with the game, experiment with the way how we work, yeah? Experiment with everything, yeah? So, and this is the playground. It's really, really simple, yeah? What is important about the playground is that it has kind of the borders, yeah? But borders are wide enough so team can still collaborate, experiment, innovate, and be creative. So they're not like really, really, really small borders that people cannot do anything inside. They are wide enough, yeah? That's important. And other thing is that we have some rules. Borders are actually some rules. And borders are not that wide that people will actually work on some things which are not available, yeah? So we should have some borders. So example of the border is our game should be puzzle game, yeah? Those are the borders. So do not experiment outside of puzzle game genre, yeah? Also border can be, we will use Unity. So do not experiment with other engines. We agreed it will be Unity. Or we agreed we want to have 90% of production team on same location. So we will not experiment with having 50% of the team in, I don't know, Asia, 30% in Serbia, and What I'm missing? 20%. So 20% someone else. Exactly. So we agree like that. And how experiment looks? So we have practice, tool, method, idea, whatever we want to experiment with. And we said, yeah, let's take that experiment, yeah? Let's take it and start experiment with it. And what is important, we aligned before experimentation. So we aligned that we want to do this experiment, yeah? So complete team said, yeah, this makes sense. As an example, instead of 4-week sprint, we said we will start with 2-week sprint. Okay, let's experiment and let's see what we'll get, yeah? So if experiment was successful, great. That's a great thing. So that becomes our new way of working or doing things. But if experiment not passed, we should understand why. And we should understand on the basis like, okay, we couldn't release the version in 2 weeks. Why? QA didn't get anything just at the end of the sprint, like first day before sprint end, last day before sprint end, they get some stuff to work on and to test. So they didn't have time, we didn't release the version. Why's that? Because, I know, tasks are too big, or stories or features are too big, yeah? Or UI was bottleneck, or whatever. So failed experiments should actually be learning, and based on that learning, we should do maybe some other experiment and say, okay, we are not able today to release on let's say, 2 weeks release basis, but let's do something else. Let's start splitting our user stories in the smaller, logical, testable portions, so we can even start testing in the middle of the sprint some things, yeah? So that was important, and that was the learning. And it's all about inspection and adaptation, yeah? One of the values we all know, yeah? So on the top right corner, from time to time, you will see some things here. So if you can predict what will be there, just say it, yeah? So this team had a goal, had a person who was driving that goal, like product owner, product manager, whatever. And based on that, we as a team just said, okay, we have a goal, we know what we should do and release in a couple of weeks, so let's start. So let's just grab some stuff and start producing something and see where we are going. Simple as that. So we are not speaking now about any methodology, we just started, yeah? So what is important to have common goal and common understanding, and we work all on that common goal. That was really important. In one moment, after a few weeks, the guy was struggling, yeah? So who is doing what, when, I'm dependent on him, I'm waiting, and so on. So we were kind of in a mess, yeah? Because we just had a goal and we started, so we didn't have any way of working, yeah? So we agreed after a couple of days, when we saw that mess, we actually should meet every morning and try to agree what we all work on that day, who is dependent on whom, who needs to meet with him, and so on and so on. So that was like really simple, just starting doing that. And that was communication and collaboration part, which definitely helped us, yeah? And if you see here, I forgot to mention that, we have some hearts here and some diamonds here. So when we make a mistake, we are losing heart, like a life in the game, and we are gaining experience. In this case, we gained experience, yeah? Because we realize what we actually need to do. So we, after some time working in that, let's say, kind of way, we understood that still something is missing. On these daily meetings, we actually more discuss about what needs to be done, which features and so on, instead of how we will do it, yeah? So we lost a lot of time, and it was not 15 minutes meeting, it was like 1 hour sometimes, because we really talked a lot about what instead of how we will deliver it. So we agreed, okay, we need to sort it out, yeah? So let's select the items which we should work on. Let's discuss it, and let's say what is really ready from our perspective, where we have enough details and, let's say, requirements, or however we call them, and let's just start. So what is this? Can someone guess? Do you need drums? It's just actually refinement, yeah, and planning. So we realized working that, okay, we need to have some more planning, yeah, for sure. but not like plan 1 year in advance, couple of weeks. So we started like that, and it was really great. But in one moment, we realized that if you look in this UI person, something is wrong. So it's like, after some time, we see that we are not releasing features, we're like just waiting. Developers are like sleeping half of the sprint. Technical artists are playing board games, and QA is actually looking for another job because he's not getting anything to test. So he's like Googling how to become a Scrum Master or whatever. So it was like really, really messy. And this UI person was about to explode. Yeah? So what we actually did, we said, okay, we need to sort it out and see what we will do. So we realized that it's a problem in UI, and UI becomes bottleneck. But do we need more people? Do we need some automatization? Is this bottleneck because of some different reason? We don't know, yeah? So we say, let's try to measure it, yeah? So let's split our, and this is how we split it. So let's split our development column into UI, development, testing, and done, yeah? Just to see how many items and how long items are actually staying in a specific column, yeah? And after that analyze, we realized that, as you see, UI is crying, and we lost one life, but we gained experience understanding that we actually need one more UI, yeah? But I mentioned before, we balanced the team and we didn't know how many team members we need in each area. So, yeah, let's balance it. And we realized that. So that's good. And this is all about transparency and visualization, because we transparently showed where we are and visualized to us so we can easily check it, and did some metrics. And based on that, we had much better situation, which is really, really important. So state after was actually this, yeah? Additional UI, no one is sleeping anymore, yeah? QA is believing that he still makes some, let's say, contribution. This is great. And yeah, we had much more balanced team in this situation. And it's all because we inspected and we adapted, yeah? But we inspected on transparent information and data. If you inspect on non-transparent and rogue data, you will probably adapt in the wrong direction. So that's really important to understand, yeah? So after some time, this team had a challenge. So we had a, let's say, set up environment, we are producing some assets and everything else, but we are not able still to play the game because we are missing levels, yeah? And at that moment, we do not have level designer in our team. So we like agreed, okay, let's see who can jump in, and one person from other team who had also like 64 other projects, he jumped in. And he was really motivated and said, yeah, I want to work with this product. This is really, really motivating me and really interesting product for me. But he couldn't keep up, yeah, with our pace. So he couldn't produce levels fast enough so we can actually play the game. And after some time, we realized that we need to invite him for some session. And we said, this is a team session. We'll talk about team improvement areas and so on. So since you are part of the team, let's join. And a couple days later, we organized that session. And this guy is like coming with a laptop, yeah? He's sitting, he's listening what others talk, or maybe even not, and then he's doing something on his laptop, yeah, during the session. And one of the developers just came to him and like just watching what he's doing. And the developer realized that he's using some Excel table, and he's putting something there, writing, deleting, or whatever. He was like asking him, dude, what you're doing? He was like, I'm producing levels. You're using Excel table to produce levels? Yes. But what if we produce you the like editor where you can just drag and drop items which we already have as assets and just produce much quickly? He was like, you will do that for me? Almost crying, yeah? Of course. And why? Why developer will accept additional job for him? It's because he wanted to help, yeah? And we actually had common goal. And if we distribute code really fast into the game, but we are not able to test that test that code playing the game, what is the worth of that code? Yeah? Nothing. So that is important about the common goal. So he produced this tool, like, and handed over to level designer, and level designer was almost crying. Like, he was invited him to his wedding, and like, almost he became his best man, yeah? So he was really, really, really like surprised that actually no one before thought about it, even he was part of 10, 15, 20 projects before, yeah? And so it's all about retrospecting. So if we didn't have that person available to just see what he's doing, we couldn't do anything. So we need to meet and talk about improvements and only just see what other people are doing, yeah? So it was really, really important. So after some time, we were like full speed ahead. We are having everything, we are releasing on time, we have really, really good pace. But management like wanted to see what those 20 people, in that moment we have like 20 people, what they're doing, like for what we are spending our money. Yeah? So we anyhow had like every week we are sit down, play the game, give some remarks or feedback, and based on that our product manager is prioritizing the next thing what we will do. And we said, okay, we can invite those management people on those meetings, maybe not every week, but every second, and see how we proceed and what they actually want. So it was a war game at the beginning because we came and they like expected, where is PowerPoint presentation? Like committed, done, charts, diagrams, and we were like just playing the game and that's it. That was a meeting where we just played the game. But the game was really good and beautiful in that moment, so they were like not so pushy, but they said to us, yeah, game is great, but for next time, please prepare some, how much you committed to do, what actually you did, yeah? And we said, okay, for next time, we'll prepare it. And this is all about review and demo, yeah? But we kind of struggling what to show, and we was like, let's start with committed done diagram. That could be okay. But we analyzed our average, let's say, delivered numbers per items per sprint was like around 10, yeah? 10 items per sprint. And in next sprint, you imagine, we had only 5 items because 2 were really big. And we were like, okay, if we show that we delivered 5 items and previously 10 in average, they will like kill us. Yeah? So, and we started, let's say, okay, let's just split the items, yeah? Makes sense. Just split these big items, and then we agreed we should have like L, M, and S sizes, and in average everything will be M for sure. So let's just split that. And we split it, but we split it because of wrong reasons, yeah? But again, that showed us much better cooperation. So testers could test this item much earlier than this item. So it was really valuable for us at the end. We started because of wrong reasons, but in the end, it was really valuable. So it's all about alignment and sizing your work in, let's say, portions that are small enough, but not that small that it doesn't make sense. So you need to find a balance, yeah? Because you have this so-called fixed cost of building a version each time you deliver something, so you need to be careful about that, yeah? So fun is there, yeah? After next review was like really great. Management played the game together with us, and they didn't even ask about this chart. They didn't ask because it was so fun for them to play and they see that team is actually doing a good job, they never ask about this. And we're still producing this chart, so do you know, but no one asked about this, yeah? We're producing it, just for us, yeah, just for fun. But is it really there when you speak about fun? Because we tested, management tested, but no one else, yeah? So we kind of were struggling what more people and what will say the crowd, so we ask actually studio members to fill in some survey and give us feedback. Yeah? So, and surveys show us that fun is not really there. It's kind of there, but not completely. So we were like, okay, let's try to fix those things and then try to have these surveys more often. Yeah? regularly. Just do it. Just do it and see what other people think. Because in studio we have like 200 people, and it's a good amount of people if we do not want to release still version publicly. After we did like technical validation, BI, and everything else, of course, but in this period, it was not there, yeah? So feedback, which should be customer-centric, yeah? Actually, players need to give a feedback, yeah? And that's really important. So, next thing, okay, TP shaping, what's that? So next thing, what we realized after some time, animation became a bottleneck. And if you read my article before this, for a summit, you will know this story, but animation became a bottleneck, and in one moment we realized that animation cannot keep up. They really had a lot of stuff, because in that moment of project we had a lot of polishes for the animation. So we were like searching for another animator. In that moment in studio, there were no any animators, but there was one person, technical artist, who know like some things about animation, yeah? He couldn't do like some complicated stuff, but he knew it. We said, let's bring this guy, and in parallel, let's search for another, because we believe that this will not be a good option for us. And actually, after some time, we realized that this person who had technical art skill really deep, and let's say general understanding and general skills about animation, was able to fill the gap for animation, but also was able to fill gap for technical art when actually someone was unavailable or on holiday or sick or whatever. So these T-shaped professionals became really valuable for us, and that's all about T-shaping. And what we actually understood, that those are the superstars, P-shaped professionals. They're like, have two deep skills, yeah, and one general, and they can fill even three gaps. You cannot find them easily. They are sometimes called ninjas, but they're really valuable. But what we agreed as a team, we want to work on our skills improvement, even in other areas than which we are actually working on now. And we like form community of practice where people will actually be able to exchange the knowledge about specific topic, if that's animation, technical art, Unity, puzzle genre games, whatever, yeah? And that's something valuable. So we agreed that we want to have knowledge improvement and, let's say, continually improve our knowledge, not just in the skill where we are currently. And that's amazing, yeah? So we do not have any more place because of exit for diamonds, but that's okay. So next thing what I want to ask you is actually do again Menti, enter the code this, and just write what you think are the best skills for the PRT shaping. So your answer should look like this: UX/UI plus QA, yeah? So that will be like, we think that these two can pair really good, yeah? So just write and let's see. I will just, I need to change the slide first. Yeah, now you should get it. Sorry. I think. Yeah, it's here. So just write like game design plus QA, concept art plus animation, sound design plus tech art, or whatever, yeah? UX and QA, great. That's actually my example. Give something different. QA and QA, okay. All of them, okay. You want ninjas, okay. UI, QA. Tech art and QA, game design and tech art. Ne moraš još. Game design, tech art and QA have the most votes. Okay, continue. This will be really valuable because I will do some research about it. Yeah, you can make, yeah, finished. Great. So, let's bring it back. So at the end, what was the conclusion? So we kind of, after some time, have our wow, or way of working, and we said it's all about transparency and metrics, because we want on transparent data to measure things, because if you're not measuring, you cannot improve. You do not know what to improve. So that was really important for us. Alignment and adaptability. Alignment of complete team, and we agreed that we should adapt whenever it's possible and wherever is needed. So we were like not sticking to the agreements from a couple of decades ago, and you for sure have your companies that you're doing something because someone says that 10 years ago, yeah? So let's challenge that. And continuous improvement. Continuous learning, continuous improvement, and continuous alignment were really important for us, yeah? And that's something that we really think it's valuable. And game changers are here, yeah? There are a lot of more of them, but I like underline something. So feedback, not just from the players to us, but between each other, yeah? This was really important. And we use a lot of opportunities on retrospectives to give a feedback, and actually a couple of days ago we had a fight. Vukashin can confirm that. We had a fight discussing about some topics, but healthy fight, yeah? So we realized that something is not going good, so I let people fight about it, and then in the end we realized what is the problem, and we, let's say, clarified what we need to improve in our pipeline to work better, to communicate better, and that was all great. Continual alignment, experimentation, retrospective, working agreements, really important. So work agreements, so you agree how you want to work, because if you have distributed team and, let's say, hybrid way of working on and remote teams, you want to have this, because it's not easy without agreements to know what to expect from each other, how we share information, how we communicate, how we collaborate. It's really easy, and there are a lot of tools you can find, like canvases to do agreement, yeah? And that's really, really important. And one thing we realized is that actually development should not be sequential, like let's do a design, code and assets, commit, integrate, and then test and tune, yeah? Because if we do like that, and we, at the beginning, did it, it will take like 4 weeks, as we say, to have a feature release. Yeah? So we actually changed our approach and said, let's agree what is the minimum design we need so we can start coding and let's say, creating assets, yeah? So we agreed a minimum thing, and it was kind of parallel development, not fully parallel because design was a little bit earlier, but we had that agreement, what is the minimum. And we, on refinement, agree, okay, I need minimum to have this ready so I can start working on my stuff. And then we, of course, iterate, test and tune, and based on that, maybe we'll go back to design, and that's normal. But instead of sequential development, we really agreed that we want to have parallel development, and then we release versions much earlier, and we are able to keep up now, even in few days, have new version, yeah? So, also, when we talk about the phases, again, it's not like concept, pre-development, production, post-production, no. They're overlapping, yeah? So, as you see here, concept, you do all the way around till post-production, just smaller portion of it in later phases, yeah? Same like pre-development and production part, yeah? Pre-production and production part. And if we speak about the concept, so we are researching, brainstorming with clear, let's say, goals and really short iterations. So you want to shorten those iterations, because if you give creative people a lot of time, they will use all of it, yeah? So you need to, let's say, have short iterations, not that long, but short enough, and you need to just start doing it. So our sprints in concept phase will maybe be a couple of days, not 2 weeks. Then we go to the pre-production. Sprints become longer. We have time boxes or like couple of weeks. We are setting up all the environments needed, have release goals. we're actually in that phase trying to find the fun, yeah, and that's really important. Producing the assets after in production, mostly producing assets. What else? Levels and everything what is related to production, but still we are doing portion of pre-production concept things because, of course, we want to change something on the way based on the feedback, and then on post-production we are mostly focused on, let's say, handing over and polishing things which we think we need is to be polished, and producing new events. If we talk about mobile games, we are in post-production actually producing new events. It's really Kanban style. So we are changing our framework from short iterations, longer iterations, Kanbanish, and here at the end is like totally Kanban, yeah? In post-production, we all know what we need to do all the time. So we are just shipping, yeah? And if you look like this at the phases, it's actually what you need to understand, yeah? So in all phases, you will do all these aspects. In concept phase, for sure, a lot of research, yeah? In pre-production, a lot of prototyping. In production, a lot of assets production, and in post-production, maybe a little bit less polishing, but it looks nice if you have like this straight line. And yeah, it's important that in all phases you have all aspects, yeah? Because sometimes you even in concept phase want to polish something really small because you want to see how it works. You want to send it out for the, let's say, wider crowd to vote on that, and if they have complete picture, it will be much better. So this is what we need to understand when we speak about game development, but in general in product development, yeah? And if we take a look bigger picture, this is mostly, let's say, in this pre-production period, which is pretty long for us. We had stakeholders and players on the left side. We have the middle product management, and we have 3 teams, and at the end we have a game. Yeah. So how it looks like? We deliver some feature to the teams. They are delivering to our game, and then we, after that game, are handing over to players and stakeholders, and they are giving their thoughts. Something we will delete and say it's not worth to continue work on it. Something will say, yeah, this is good, this is cool. Yeah? And then stakeholders and players will give us some new proposals what we should add in our game. And then this is considered by product manager, and then he is, let's say, sorting out in our product backlog. And then we repeat the cycle, yeah? And it's all about feedback, yeah? So what helped us, and now I will just list some things because we do not have much time. I will just list some things that what helped us to, let's say, have these iterations and experimentation going, yeah? So first thing is value stream. So first thing I did when I came to the team, I actually wanted to understand what is happening from the moment idea is born till the moment that actually that idea is implemented and ready, that we can use it and play it, yeah? And this is the cycle now, like 1 week. But before, we were spending a lot of time in this planning, trying to understand what we want to do. And we want to avoid it because you want to avoid this fuzzy front end, because some companies, be 18 months talking about what should be delivered, what should be planned, and so on and so on. And then suddenly it becomes urgent and team needs to deliver it. So why to focus all the time on delivering pipelines, and why we shouldn't concentrate on this, how we are actually doing brainstorming, ideation, how we're actually bringing ideas to the team and say, hey, we want to work on this. We have these requirements, idea, goals, or whatever. So something is really important to, let's say, focus on this, what is all happening before we actually hand it over to the team. And I didn't, let's say, this is not my, you can research more about it, just, let's say, type fuzzy front end, Smith and Reinstein populate this term, and it's really, really important, I think, to know about this. Yeah? User stories, I think all of you know, but let's use them in proper way. So this is one example, it's really easy. So As a player, I want to get excited once I clear the line, because value this feature will bring to player is getting excited, yeah? So once I clear the line, I want to get excited. How will get excited the player? There are a lot of ways, but in our game, we want to see animation of the line being cleared, right? So animation will get him excited, and we want to hear some sound, interesting sound that gets him excited as well. Yeah? So it's really straightforward, easy example. Story mapping, this was really good approach for us to be able to agree how we will iterate or how to do release planning. So we listed the features, and then to produce those features, we said those are the steps we need to do. So stories or portion of features, and then we say in which iteration we will have what, yeah? And this is really easy, straightforward exercise. You can Google it as well, yeah? This is some exercise we did. So this is one board, which is, let's say, collecting all teams' effort, and we had in that moment 3 teams. All teams' effort is collected here, and then we say which team needs to work on what. And if something happens on this board, it will get reflected here, yeah? Because we agree that we do not want to focus on updating this board. We just created some automation. Once we put something is blocked on this board, it will appear also in this big board. That complete task, which is distributed to 3 teams, it's blocked. And it's visualization for the team here, that they should work on something else because it's blocked. It doesn't make sense. Yeah? This is how boards could look like. So this is chapters creation. It's mainly technical art, animation, and UI, let's say, job, and we had one pipeline for that. And they were completely independent for the other team. So we had like separate team working on that, yeah. Then development, yeah, this is mainly gameplay and maybe some meta features. And for the level design, we do not have board, but I have a recommendation that you read actually this book, Clinton Kate, Agile Game Development, and he gave some good examples how we can actually do level development on similar way. Yeah. And at the end, what is important to mention that during our, let's say, working together, we never mentioned these things specifically. Yeah? So we just doing what feels naturally to us. And I was never saying, let's use acceptance criteria. No, we said, okay, let's try to understand how to split this and then make some understanding what actually needs to be tested so we can confirm that this is done. Yeah? What is important, that person who is facilitating all of this have a lot of information and knowledge what is available in the market, because he can ask good questions, and based on those questions, team together will decide if we do Henjunka. Someone knows what is Henjunka? This is this splitting I mentioned. It's coming from the Japanese. Yeah? So actually, that's the main idea. So we never mentioned this, but we use this. And this is really important. So do not focus on methodology itself. Focus, or some practices, focus on the team and what the team actually wants. And this is all about the people we mentioned. So now it's game over, but it's not the end. Yeah, we lost all the lives, but we have a lot of experience gained, hopefully. So before we start with the questions, I would appreciate your feedback. Because it's not possible now to scan the code, you can go to talk.ac/Steph, and you can give me a feedback there. It works. Oh, perfect. Yeah. And we can do QA now. Thank you. I need to unplug here. No? Very good about T-shape. Okay. People's style is good. Or when we talk about TP shape, it is reflected in people's salaries, or how else was the motivation of such people, such specialists build. They were motivated. They actually thought that if they have these skills, we'll be able to much quicker fill the gaps, and team will be more satisfied, and most important, we will finish the game earlier so they can start working on another one. So this was, let's say, motivation itself. From the salaries perspective, I agree, it should be reflected, this is another seniority level, yeah? But I would say it's not the first and most important aspect, because people were really motivated, and we actually asked them what you want to improve. And studio brings opportunity for them so they can learn more. So it's like win-win situation, I would say, yeah?
So you didn't afraid that they will learn and go out?
No. Because you know this sentence, like when CEO and CFO are arguing, should they invest in people, yeah? So CFO is like saying, what if we invest in people, but they leave? And then CEO said, but what if we do not invest and then they stay? Yeah, that's important. What tool did you use the story mapping? Just bringing everyone to the table and put the sticky notes. Yeah, sticky note, physical table, if possible, yeah. If not, you can use Miro. It's really easy. Yeah. Any questions from the crowd? We have. How do you handle collaboration between teams? Yeah, so we kind of have champions or representative of team members which will, let's say, exchanging on a daily basis. We call them champions, so not scrum masters, not agile coaches, champions, or captains, or it's good as well. And they were like exchanging between each other from time to time, information and everything else what needed, but it's really about how you want to set up. You can have like scrum of scrums or whatever, but I will suggest just discuss with the team and see what is the most important and good thing to do. And then once you're planning items, let's plan together, then split in the teams. And then if we realize some dependencies between us, let's meet again and talk about these dependencies. So it should be easy, yeah? It should not be so complicated, yeah? How did you handle conversation? Should I answer again? It was not good enough? Yeah. Okay. If no other questions, can we again switch to my monitor? There is. Do you use Udoka principle in software development? Can you give no, we're not using. Sorry. But we can discuss about that. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. Okay? If not, can just, because first I want really your feedback. Second one, feel free to, let's say, hi after this and chat, because if you have any additional topics, I would really like to discuss anything. And third thing, let's connect. If possible to use this, use it. If not, let's just Google or type on the LinkedIn Stefan Stojković, and hopefully you will find me. Yeah? Maybe it's not possible to scan it. If possible, good. If not, say just Google it. Okay. Any more questions we have, maybe? And that's it. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to deliver this for you.